Welcome to another episode of the Alpha Club Spotlight Series. This is your boy People's Market, and I'm sitting down today with my brother Old Man Still Can as we deep dive into everything that Ducat has been pioneering here in Web3, and we couldn't be beyond bullish. How you doing today, my brother Old Man?
Great mood today. I'm excited to learn more about this product and how it can help us, us old guys earn some money or learn more. I mean, we're in such a great time to be alive. So much to learn, so many cool things. And anyway, I don't want to hold people off. I'm just ready to jump in and learn more.
Let's get to that alpha. Now, without further ado, it is our absolute honor and pleasure to introduce Dante from Ducat. How you doing today, fam?
Fantastic. Couldn't ask for a better day. Today was a beautiful sunny day. Now I'm getting to spend some time talking about Ducat. So sunny days plus talking about Ducat, I don't know what really gets better than that.
Sounds good. I love it.
That's max vibes right there, and we absolutely love it. So if y'all are ready, get your notebooks out and let's soak up some alpha. Now, Dante, if you don't mind, can you give us a little brief description on DeFi and exactly what Ducat has been pioneering here in Web3?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm really thankful for, you guys having us on here today. Really appreciate it. Anyone that's able to listen to this, if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to jump in and ask me any questions. You can find me at Dante3_BTC on Twitter, Telegram, Discord. Hopefully I'll cover everything today. But always happy to, help spread more information, help give alpha to everybody. But to answer your question, from a broad perspective, DeFi is really just taking the financial primitives that, what we call traditional finance now, and kind of removing a lot of the middlemen from that process through code. So DeFi really blew up, I would say DeFi Summer, which was about 4 or 5 years ago. And DeFi Summer showed that, you can actually use software to connect people, whether it's through lending and borrowing, whether it's for gaining yield. And it really is passing off, maybe the basis points that a lot of people would consider in traditional finance from middlemen to the end consumer. So it's a much more efficient process, but that doesn't come without its risks. So, DeFi is a brand new experiment that's been, started the past few years. It is a place where, we've seen some really incredible stuff come, and we've also seen some experiments fail. But that's, very normal in startup space. That's very normal in software. So yeah, DeFi, you could really just think of it as the programmability of finance in a decentralized way, so that you're not really having to trust institutions or companies to execute trades and yield opportunities and stuff like that for you, now baked into something called smart contracts, which you can just think of as executable code.
Alpha, alpha, alpha. Thank you so much for that, Dante. I'm sure my brother Old Man Still Can will agree when I say this. There is so much knowledge out there that sometimes we can get lost, right? And when it comes down to consuming that education and that knowledge, it can get a little intimidating sometimes. But that's why we're extremely grateful for people like yourselves and Ducat, who are coming out to not only bring value to DeFi, but also taking the time to explain it in a very consumable way. And I feel that that's how we're going to onboard the masses, and that's how we're going to continue to pioneer a beautiful new world. What do you think, brother Old Man?
Absolutely. As you can see, my name is Old Man Still Can. I'm not that old, but I'm 10, 15 years from retiring. We old people are in this interesting space, right? Some of us were smart enough to get in. I'm a little bit behind. I do work in tech, but we're in such an interesting space to make money, man. Hats off to you young dudes who are out there cranking this stuff out and, just educating yourselves. And now you're educating others. And right. And those who are willing, who are my age, who are still want to learn more, hopefully they'll tune in and learn that, we don't have to necessarily depend on the 401k and traditional fiat. There's this cryptocurrency, right? And there are other legitimate ways out there to add to that income and, just live a much more active, interesting life than just sitting around and do nothing, right? Cryptocurrency, Web3 is such a fascinating space for us to learn and earn. I mean, there's so much
100%.
more, man. So I don't want to hold this up anymore, brother. I'm excited to learn more.
100%. And like you said, it is a really interesting space. It's a space that's really growing. I've been in this space for years now. Before jumping in fully into Ducat, my background was in software. And it was just really mind blowing to me. First of all, after reading the Bitcoin white paper, I read the Bitcoin white paper back in 2017. I still didn't fully grasp what was going on. But as you start putting the pieces together, you go, oh, wow, this world that we're living in is actually very mendable, and there is a lot of technology that actually can benefit a lot of people. And that's kind of my take on like Bitcoin as a whole. And I'm really passionate specifically about what we're building at Ducat for the reason is like we are taking Bitcoin and we are trying to unlock that liquidity from Bitcoin. So we're a little bit different than a lot of DeFi projects. A lot of DeFi projects, maybe your listeners might know about like the Ethereum virtual machine or Solana or other blockchains, and they've kind of seen Bitcoin as this like thing in the industry that is just kind of sit and hold. And Ducat is trying to take that sit and hold mentality and say, you know what, actually you can do something with your Bitcoin, and you can do it right on Bitcoin, which is the really, really interesting part. So happy to jump in and dive into that today. Yeah, really hit the nail like hammer on hit the nail on the head. I think that's how you say it. With
Perfect. Well
saying
said, brother.
that with
No,
how interesting this space is and how fun it is to be here.
no, absolutely. Before we dive into all the alpha that Dante's about to drop for us, something we've always said at the Alpha Club is we're not just builders, we're literally pioneering a beautiful new world. And that's why I love what you just said, Dante. I know the traditional finance system, it seems broken, but it's still mendable, as you just mentioned. And as long as we continue to educate and we continue to be willing to learn, I do feel that we have a bright future ahead of us. So we are definitely bullish to soak in all the alpha that you have for us today.
Awesome, man. Let's jump into it. I think maybe the best place to start, you can think of Ducat, if you're familiar with the traditional finance world, you may know like you have equity in something, whether that's stocks or whether that's a house. And you say, this thing is going to appreciate in value. I don't want to sell it. Maybe it's best for me to take a loan against it. So this happens all over the world. This happens all throughout traditional finance. And what Ducat is really standing and saying is, hey, you can do this for Bitcoin too. Many people have said, hey, Bitcoin is the best store of value ever created in history. And if that's true, I believe it is, my team believes it is, then maybe you probably don't want to be spending it on a lot of things. So what Ducat is allowing is for people to take a loan against their own Bitcoin, but all on Bitcoin layer one. So that means all the like what would be considered a smart contract in a way, if you were doing this on other chains, we have built right into the Bitcoin scripting. So now you have somebody that can take a loan against their Bitcoin, get our stablecoin on the Bitcoin network. And then if they want to, they can go to other chains with that stablecoin. They can bring it into the real world. They can do really whatever it is they find best for themselves. But what's really awesome is this now is all possible on the Bitcoin network. So you don't have to trust an institution to hold your Bitcoin for you. You don't have to take your Bitcoin and wrap it and bridge it to another chain and then take your loan. It's all possible on Bitcoin, and that's what we're really, really excited to share today. So is there any questions about just what I said that maybe I could clarify a little bit on?
I do have one question, Dante. When you talk about getting a stable coin in turn for your BTC, is that stable coin pegged to the US dollar, or is it pegged to the price of Bitcoin?
Great question. So technically, it's a soft peg to the US dollar. And for the reason being is we're trying to approach this from the lens of Bitcoin is the most decentralized network. And for there to be a truly decentralized stablecoin, it needs to be on Bitcoin. So the way you do this is you back the stablecoin by Bitcoin, by native BTC, which, you'd say, well, if there's not US treasuries or there's not one-to-one backing to this, how does it hold its peg? I'm going to cover a lot of that stuff in the demo, and a lot of that will make a lot more sense. But the short answer is it's a soft peg. It likely will float a little bit between like ideally 99 cents to $1.01. We'll set up a price stability module. So there's always that arbitrage opportunity to keep it as closely tied to $1 as possible. But essentially what our mechanism for pegging is that the protocol will have about 160% BTC to USD ratio. there's dollars outstanding. And then our liquidation mechanism will be holding the reason for supply and demand, meaning that if the peg is moving up to $1.01, it's going to be pushing down. And if it's pushed down to, like, let's say 0.99, it should be pushed up. But that will be all through our mechanisms of how we're keeping the stablecoin protocol essentially healthy, is what we'll call it. But soft peg is the easy answer. There is no one-to-one backing. It's just super over-collateralized with BTC.
That makes absolute sense. And I really do appreciate you clarifying that. You know, I've always believed that when it comes down to consuming content and consuming education, we all look at it a little bit differently, right? So the way you're able to explain things, Dante, it's really easily consumable. And I know that I speak for our entire audience when I say thank you for that, because a lot of us, including myself, even though I was around for DeFi summer, there's still a lot of things I need to learn, a lot of alpha out there to soak up. So again, just thank you for that explanation. And we are definitely excited to see how Ducat has been able to, once again, pioneer everything that we're experiencing in this beautiful new world.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into the demo if that sounds good with you guys on the visual side. I think maybe all the viewers would just love to see. I was talking a little craziness about this. How do we keep this over collateralized with BTC? Maybe we should just show them.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Let's do
Let's
it.
go.
All right, awesome. So this is all testnet. Anyone in the audience that's interested in participating in our testnet, we have some documentation, we have some videos, we have basically everything you need to set up your wallet to testnet. Very easy, very simple process. You guys will most likely get all the links for that stuff. So right now, what I'm going to be showing you guys is all play money, which means there's really no risk for you to come and try out the protocol. So you can see this is like my testnet account. I have $25,000 worth of testnet BTC. I have $2,000 of a loan outstanding. And you can kind of see this is like my healthy vault, my liquidation price. All these things are a little bit unclear right now. I think maybe the best place that we can start is I'm just going to open up a brand new wallet. I'm going to walk through the entire process of what it's like to start this from, okay, I just got set up to testnet. How do I now use the Ducat protocol? So if you guys want to give me 1 second, I'm going to start from ground zero and we're going to go walk through this all together.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So for anyone that hasn't come here before, you'll see you get welcome to Ducat, create a vault to get started. I'm going to connect my new wallet right now. This wallet has no BTC in it. It is a completely new wallet. So I don't have any BTC in this wallet. We've really tried to think about from the user experience perspective, someone that's never tried anything testnet wise on Bitcoin before. So we've actually included our own BTC faucet. So you can come in here with no Bitcoin, or I should say testnet Bitcoin, MutinyNet, and you can just come over here, claim your tokens. MutinyNet is super fast, which is really awesome. It allows for testing of the Bitcoin network with the speed of something like Ethereum. So you can see right there, I just got my MutinyNet token sent to me. It should pop up over here in about a few seconds. And then I will walk through the process of what it'll be like to open that vault for the first time with some testnet BTC. Let's see.
Isn't it insane how fast things move on chain? I mean, let's say you go to your traditional bank today, you can't even get your money out for a week sometimes. It's crazy how far we've come.
It's pretty wild. And it's kind of funny because when you think about it, it's like the Bitcoin blockchain is like pretty slow. Like it's actually crazy slow compared to like something like Solana. But like when you think of like traditional finance, like to say you only have to wait 10 minutes for something and it's completely verified is like so much better than like, oh, I gotta wait 3 days or something like that for my deposit to go through, which is it's just funny. But yeah, I think you guys might have seen that notification pop up right there saying that my BTC tokens have arrived. So right there, you can see, okay, awesome. Just got $10,000 of testnet Bitcoin. Let's run through what creating a vault is like. So first thing is, well, what even is a vault? So what you can think of a vault as is essentially now what you're doing is you say, okay, I own this wallet over here. So my wallet's 2MT6, numbers and letters after that. And what you're doing is you're saying, I have full ownership of this wallet. This is my complete private key. What a vault is it's a two-part multi-sig between yourself, so this wallet, and the Ducat protocol as a whole. So you can kind of think of any protocol that's a decentralized protocol. Then now our protocol is the second signer there. So that's how you would essentially be able to get these loans, is as long as you're signing and as long as the protocol is signing, you now can take this loan. And you might say, well, this protocol, what determines it should be signing? And it's really just protocol rules. So are you adhering to taking a healthy amount? So we'll go into the numbers and everything, but as long as you follow protocol rules, you're going to be able to have full ownership and custody essentially of the vault, do whatever actions that you want. And the protocol, as long as it looks good, it signs off on it, and it's really yours. But that's what's happening, is it's a two-part multi-sig between the protocol and yourself. So I'll create this vault. We'll call this Dante 50. We've created a lot of vaults, so I'm just making numbers up at this point. So you can see, like, okay, this is the BTC I got from the faucet, and this is what's in my wallet. I want to open up a vault, and let's say I'm going to put like about 50% of that BTC in there. So when I put 50%, the 50% is going to stay in my wallet, and then 50% of that Bitcoin is going to go into the vault. Now, the amount of a loan I can take is based off of this number up here. So that's the number that's in the vault. That's in the two-part multi-sig. And you can essentially take up to 160% BTC to USD. Now, the reason for that being is that, some people over leverage a lot. What we really have decided from the protocol standpoint is that safety and decentralization are the two top things that we're prioritizing here. So someone might say, this is not like the most capital efficient thing. I can get much more capital efficient loan from somewhere else. And we would say, yeah, probably. But what we do kind of pound on our chest about is, like, we set our protocol to a place where if the biggest liquidation event in crypto happens, most of our users are still going to be safe, unless they've just completely ignored everything and just have gone so far beyond taking care of their vaults that this 160 drops to 135. The 135 is the threshold of liquidation, and we'll go into that. But that's like a pretty massive drop for something to happen with you not paying attention at all and paying back this vault. But that's in the max risk scenario. So we can, make it as healthy as we want. So let's just say right now we're going to go 50 and 50. So the vault will be a $5,000 vault. It's going to take a $1,600 loan. The reason it keeps resetting as well is because Bitcoin's price keeps changing. So it wants you to, like, always kind of be updated there. But then we can see, okay, we're depositing this amount of BTC. This is the estimated value. This is how much of a loan that we're taking out. This is the sats per VByte. So essentially your gas on the Bitcoin network. And this is what it looks like here. So we'll go ahead and confirm this transaction. Right now, I don't think you guys see it on your side, but my wallet has popped up and I'm just confirming those transactions. Perfect.
Wow.
So my vault's under construction. There's a few things that are kind of cool. While we're doing this demo, like I said, on testnet, it'll happen in a few seconds. But on mainnet, we have a Telegram bot tracker. So it'll tell you, like, you're coming in the next block. Well, as you can view the mempool, but we're super fast on testnet. So that was fun to see just happen in real time right there. But yeah, you now can see I have opened up my vault from start to finish. I have $5,000 in this vault. I have $1,600 of unit, which is our stable coin. And I can now take that stable coin and do whatever I want with it. It's actually, like, in my wallet right here, which is pretty cool. So what can you do with it? Well, that's for us to really build out. One of the first things that people might want to do is something called, like, a unit swap. So you might literally just want to take your unit and be able to swap it for more BTC. So right now in our test network, we're saving this for people that are doing liquidations. So I'll go into that first. But I think actually this might be a good place to pause, just kind of digest. Like, I probably went over a lot of information. Any questions from you guys that you think maybe the viewers might be thinking in their heads right now?
Okay, so one thing that first of all, I'm extremely impressed about is the seamless experience. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, when you're learning something new, being able to have a seamless experience can literally mean the difference between onboarding somebody but not just onboarding, it's the customer retention side. And one thing I'm extremely impressed about is just how easy that whole process was from beginning to end to create your vault. And now here we are. Now, the one question I do have, and I know that we'll go deeper into all the links that we'll place in the description below for how to set up a proper wallet and such, but in the user's best interest, is it always good just to keep the same wallet connected to your vault, in a sense of, let's say somebody wants to have their wife or their uncle, everybody participate? Can Ducat actually separate loans, or should everybody have their own separate wallet? I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, so just because the protocol is decentralized, it's going to be wallet based. So everyone would have to have their own wallet. I guess there's nothing stopping somebody from, let's saying, I'm just making up a hypothetical scenario here. Let's say a bunch of people pooled together BTC and they said this BTC is going to be in this wallet, and then they take the loan out in that wallet and then maybe disperse the stable coins among different wallets. That's also a completely fine scenario. It would just be that one pooled wallet is the one that has the loan, and that would need to be the wallet that pays back the BTC. So that's the only way it would be able to be tracked in a decentralized way, essentially.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Dante, because, a lot of our viewers out there who are new to DeFi maybe don't have I guess, a grasp or understanding on how decentralization truly works. So that explanation was absolutely full of alpha, and we do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy to break everything down. A lot of times we talk to people that are like super DeFi users and they have tons of technical questions. Other times, we are talking to a lot of people that just know Bitcoin and they're interested in what they can do with it. So we come across a lot of different people working at Ducat, and it's always great to be able to just teach the world a little bit more about DeFi and what's possible and out there for them.
No, absolutely. How you feeling, old man? Still can? Are we bullish or are we bullish?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're covering a lot. So am I learning? Yes. But I'm also looking forward to just seeing how everything works. And what people said was perfect, right? There's a lot of information being covered, and it makes it easier when it's seamless, right? It makes it more frustrating when things aren't working or things aren't intuitive and you're trying to learn at the same time. So yeah, that was just a great solid point to bring up. Everything's feel more comfortable when everything's working and you're not getting errors. So I think that's a huge step.
No, absolutely. Before we obviously dive deeper into everything that Ducat has been pioneering, I do want to mention that when you have a product where you have the tech in the back, but the product in the front, that's where I feel true customer retention comes from. And that's exactly what Ducat has been delivering to Web3 and everybody within our ecosystem. As y'all just saw, it was a seamless experience from beginning to end, and we're super bullish to see what Dante has for us next.
Awesome. Yeah, let's keep the train rolling. So yeah, what you could see here is you see a liquidation price and you see, okay, I have a healthy vault over here. Now, what does this all mean? Why do I have a liquidation price? What does it even mean? Essentially, being a decentralized protocol, what we have to say is that, okay, you've taken this loan. If you choose to never pay back that loan, that's completely fine, actually, as long as you don't get into this risky zone. So let's say Bitcoin just keeps going up and up and up and never comes back down. Being a decentralized protocol, you're actually in a really good scenario because Ducat operates off of fees. So it doesn't operate off of interest, meaning that you technically, if you don't want to, do not have to pay back this loan. Now, where you would have to pay back this loan is, let's say Bitcoin starts going back the other way. So my threshold right now is 45,000 because I'm in a healthy scenario. I haven't taken on too much essentially debt here. And in a scenario, let's say I want to maybe get a little bit more degen. Let's move this slider all the way to I want to borrow as much as I can. So I'm not adding any more Bitcoin. I still have my $5,000 in the vault, but I want to borrow another $1,600. So I'm going to sign up this transaction here and pop up here, 2 seconds. And what you'll see is the transaction's been sent. You can go and view it in the mempool. If you had your Telegram bot set up, it'll give you your notifications. But my buttons are grayed out right now. so I can't really do anything until the next block passes, which is going to have my transaction in it. But you can also see down here, it's finalizing. So you can always check the status at the bottom of the vault transaction page. And what we're going to see happen is that my amount deposited in the vault is going to stay the same, but the unit loan has just grown now. So what happens in this scenario? So now we're in the risky zone. What we're saying here is that you've max minted to the point where you're 1.6 to 1 BTC to USD. And in a scenario where Bitcoin keeps going down, you would have to pay back this loan at a certain point. So mine now is at $91,000. If I don't, then there needs to be something called a liquidation, which essentially incentivizes somebody else to go and recollateralize your debt. So why do you even worry about something like this? Well, the big thing is that you would never want to get liquidated because you're going to lose this $5,400 of BTC. Now you'll keep this. These dollars are yours. These are in your wallet again. But this $5,400 of BTC will be for somebody else to go and claim and pay back your stablecoin debt. So you're always very much incentivized to go and make sure your vault is not getting liquidated because it would be a very bad trade for you. But in scenarios where maybe people aren't paying attention, Bitcoin keeps dropping, they choose to not either repay their loan or deposit more BTC. Our mechanism is saying, hey, okay, anyone now on the Bitcoin network will be able to recollateralize this BTC. So how does that happen technically? This is going back to the two-part multisig. So the other signer will say, oh, hey, this person is not adhering to protocol rules. Their BTC has fallen under this 135% threshold. Someone needs to do something about it because we can't have a scenario where there's more stable coins out in the world than there is dollars worth of BTC in the protocol. That's dangerous for the stablecoin. It will start to depeg rapidly. So that's kind of how we keep the protocol solvent. And what you'll actually be able to see is we go over to the liquidations tab.
Now, to all of our viewers out there, this is your opportunity right now to make sure that your notebooks are out. I hope you've been taking down all the alpha because we are just getting started. What do you think so far, old man?
Absolutely. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments and we will get back to you. We got links, so come to the Discord.
And that's one thing that we do want to make sure everybody who is listening to this episode today knows, that any sort of questions, any concerns, anything that you may have, please always feel free, as we just mentioned, not only to drop them in the comments below, but feel free to reach out to us in our Discord, via Twitter, via any social media platform, and we are always here to assist and answer any questions.
So anyone can go and find this video. I've made this video public for people to see on how to do a liquidation. Perfect. So that's my nice little face over there for everybody that hasn't seen me before. I think the best thing I can do here is I'm just going to pause the video and explain kind of what's happening. This is what normally would be shown to you guys if there is vaults available. So in a normal scenario, you'll see like, okay, we have 15 liquidatable vaults. We have this vault ID. So every vault has an ID. That vault that you just saw me create has an ID to it. You can see the unit debt. So how much debt did I not pay back? How much BTC is in the vault? So the collateral, and then the claim amount. And we'll actually show you the estimated profit as well. So anyone can kind of come to the liquidations page and see like, okay, what vaults are available for me? And so you can see how much total claimable liquidated BTC there is, and then how much you would like to claim. Now, we are going to do a little bit of a UI update to make this even more intuitive, but this is currently still the way it looks. So a user would essentially come to the slider bar and say, so I chose about like $50. I was like, I'm just going to do $50, which is a partial liquidation of a vault. So I select that, I go over and I say, claim the liquidation. It's very easy two-step problem. So you'll see how much BTC I have in my wallet, how much BTC I'm about to claim, the vaults I'm about to claim. And so you can see those vaults down there, the estimated profit. Then you can see like your updated vault collateral. But essentially this breaks down everything that's happening. You click claim liquidation, and then next thing you know, you're pretty much good to go. You get a nice little bar graph. You can kind of see the most profitable vaults and how much of it you're liquidating, and it will highlight in blue. Just so now you can see, all right, this is where it's going to take my vault. Mine was going from risky to risky. So I think I completed the liquidation right there. Yep. So this wallet signing process was happening. So transaction gets sent to the mempool. You can track it in the mempool. Which I showed in this video, you can actually see it passing in the Bitcoin blocks. And then awesome transaction gets completed. And now when I go back to my vault, my balances get updated. So I now have more BTC, but I also have more of a loan outstanding that I have to pay back. So I have to pay back that debt because the person that got liquidated, that those dollars are theirs. That's in their wallet. They don't have to pay that back. In fact, they shouldn't pay it back because they don't have that BTC as collateral anymore. So the protocol won't even allow you to pay it back. It's not even that they shouldn't, but it won't allow you. So if I come over here, you can see originally my vault was $17,400 of Bitcoin, dollars worth of Bitcoin, and then a $10,692 loan. And then after we completed the liquidation, now my vault was $17,400 and $10,000, $800 loan. If you guys want this video too, it's always helpful to see for yourself and watch the video play back, and you'll get to hear me talk through the video that I'll explain everything.
You know, I'm sure Old Man Still Can and our viewers all agree that this won't be the last time that Ducat and the SagaDAO Alpha Club come together to drop more exclusive alpha as you guys continue to grow, build, and pioneer. So please, thank you for all the information thus far. It's been absolutely bullish.
Yeah, happy to hear that. And absolutely, I'm very thankful for you guys inviting us here. I'm super happy to always be talking about Ducat and, what the future of DeFi as a whole can be with Ducat in that picture. So yeah, always happy to jump back and, chat with you guys about what's going on. Something you guys might have seen in the demo too, which is this kind of a little UI feature that we added, but something that might be confusing to some people is you can see this is how much of your loan balance that you have outstanding. But let's say you spent 300 of those dollars, which is why we have this blue bar down here. So this blue bar will tell you this is exactly how much you have in your wallet, and that's exactly how much you can pay back. So my blue bar is full because we just took that vault, but let's say I gave my friend $300, this blue bar would probably drop down to like over here, and it'll say that I only have 3,000 in my wallet, but I still have that full loan to pay back. So that's something, just a little UI feature for people to visually see how much they have in their wallet versus how much they actually owe. And then, yeah, then we just have the basic protocol stats. So because we're a decentralized protocol, everything can be seen. So every transaction can be viewed entirely, and everything will be audited and can be audited by anybody. So you could see how much BTC people have deposited in testnet, how much of a stablecoin loan people have taken on in testnet, the collateral ratio of the entire protocol, how many active vaults there are. So we really blew up around Bitcoin Vegas, which was really awesome to see. But we're still very much actively growing. There's been a lot of people that have given us a lot of positive feedback on our testnet, as well as feedback in ways that we can improve and make this even a better UI UX experience for people. But yeah, everything is visible to anybody that is interested in seeing what's going on, not just within their own vaults, but the whole protocol as a whole, which I think is kind of interesting for anybody that's into sleuthing and checking out what's really happening behind the scenes here. Everything can be viewed on the mempool. Everything can be seen in the protocol. Everything's transparent.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that Ducat has done such an amazing job at is, again, you guys understand that product should be in the front and tech in the back. So for those of us out there who are just here to use the actual protocol, seamless experience from beginning to end. But as you just mentioned, for those of us out there who are truly into DeFi and just auditing and wallet tracking, you're able to actually deep dive into the protocol as well. So you're actually reaching out to two different demographics. And again, I apologize for the redundancy, but that's how we achieve true mass adoption and customer retention. Now, I do know that my brother Old Man Still Can when we spoke earlier, we were discussing about how the future isn't going to be at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, etc. The future is DeFi. After all the alpha we just soaked up, my brother, old man, how you feeling?
Super impressed. How to express it well. This is an amazing opportunity, man, especially if you've just been stacking Bitcoin, how to use it, how to take loans against it. And another thing was super interesting. People are people, right? They're going to over leverage themselves. And well, let me step back. Another thing, right? If you've been paying attention, people have been hearing it's like, yo, got to get Bitcoin now. There's only going to be so much. Buy now, buy now. Well, here's another opportunity to take advantage of somebody's misfortune. I don't, that maybe not came off right, but you know what I'm saying? Here's a way to get more Bitcoin, right? You can either get it from a central exchange or unfortunately someone over leveraged himself. People are greedy. That's just the nature of man. And so now Bitcoin is freed up. And what I'm trying to get at? Everybody's saying Michael Saylor keeps on buying a billion of this and a billion of that every morning. You got to get it. And we're running into an outage or it's happening. So here's another
No,
opportunity for people to get in.
I absolutely understand. I kind of look at it the same as the real estate market right now. Unfortunately, I don't wish this upon anybody, but when people lose their homes due to foreclosure, what do other people do? They come in, they buy that property at an extremely cheap price, and they're able to capitalize on that. Well, same thing is going on here. Again, I don't wish that upon anybody, but if somebody would happen to over leverage themselves, there is an opportunity to come in and be able to pay off somebody else's loan while gaining one of the most precious assets that we have ever seen. Now, again, not financial advice to anybody. That is my personal opinion on how I feel about Bitcoin. It is an asset that I feel hasn't even reached its infancy yet. Like, that's how early we are. I don't even believe it's an infant yet. It's below infancy. And we still have an opportunity to gain and to be able to, again, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my children. And I know Old Man Still Can feels the same way. And all of us parents out there feel the same way. We're stacking up for our children, but there are different ways to be able to accumulate Bitcoin and use the different protocols out there, again, to elevate yourself and your family to be able to have the life that we've all dreamed of having.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the basis of Ducat is, like you guys said, we're not hoping that anyone's getting liquidated. We are just providing a tool for people that is available in every other market, except now it's available for Bitcoin. And it's available for Bitcoin in the way that Bitcoin stands for. There's a lot of other products that are starting to come out and have been coming out over the past year or two that are saying, we'll give you loans on your Bitcoin. And maybe they're charging you crazy interest rates, or maybe they're taking custody of your Bitcoin. Or maybe you're the type of person that says, I don't want wrapped Bitcoin. I want native BTC. And this is kind of now the first product that's allowing people that have that understanding of how important and precious Bitcoin is while opening up the market for them to be able to do things that's really given as tools to everybody else in every other market. And it's really on everyone to be, financially responsible on making sure, hey, if you're going to take a loan, just like in any other market, you should manage that and make sure you're being responsible about that. So we're just really opening the doors through code and engineering to give Bitcoiners and people that appreciate Bitcoin store value the opportunity that other markets have.
I do want to double back really quick on something you just said, Dante. I've been in Web3 now. This is almost going on my third cycle. And as I saw DeFi Summer explode, you're right. Bitcoin wasn't really involved, at least on a high scale, right? Everybody was talking about ETH, and then Solana Summer came around, and that's where all the DeFi action has been going on. But Ducat came in and said, you know what? We need to start showing not just the space, but the world how not only valuable Bitcoin is, but how it could be utilized in these different protocols. And that right there is why I and the entire SagaDAO Alpha Club is beyond bullish. We hear about all these crazy stories, like the Bitcoin pizza guy, right? Unfortunately, that was a terrible situation for him to happen, but it was a historic moment within our journey, not just in Bitcoin, but decentralization as a whole. And I feel we're witnessing history again with Ducat because again, they're showing us different ways to utilize our Bitcoin, not just storing it, but again, being able to use it in our everyday lives. If you need a little bit of loan, well, here's your tools. But as we just mentioned, you have to stay cautious and you have to be aware of what you're doing so you don't liquidate yourself and you don't lose your precious Bitcoin. Now, Dante, as we mentioned, this is not going to be the last time that we come together and we drop alpha for the community. We actually have a Twitter Spaces coming up this Friday, 10/24, and we are beyond bullish to go even deeper into everything that Ducat has been pioneering. If we truly sat here and just discussed all the alpha, it would probably take episode upon episodes, and that's exactly what we're looking forward to do. Now, for all of our audience members out there, what is the best way to get in hold of Ducat? Is it better to go through Discord, Twitter, any other social media outlets that the listeners should know about?
Yeah, I would say the Twitter is a great place to start. If you checked our highlighted tweets, we actually have an explainer from David, Alex, and Lucas, who is our founding team. And they go into all the details I went into today with also some beautiful graphics behind them, really breaking down in a short, concise 5-minute way what's going on with Ducat. And then for any additional questions that maybe come after either watching this or that highlighted video, feel free to always message me personally. I'm always happy to chat with people and answer questions, as well as in the Discord. There's tons and tons of members that are becoming really, really just informed and educated on Ducat that are looking to help other members. We have our mods, we have our community team. So we have so many people now that can help anyone that has questions about Ducat in the Discord. My DMs are always open for anyone that's interested in asking questions. But yeah, I would say Twitter's a great place to start, and then Discord's a great place to go and ask additional questions.
Thank you so very much for everything, Dante. I do want to end this on this note. To us, time is very precious. I've always believed that your time is one of the most precious assets you could ever have, and it's something that we can never get back. So, on behalf of the entire Alpha Club, we just want to say thank you for taking the time today to come and not only drop alpha for the community, but truly bring that passion and dedication that I've always admired about you. I've appreciated all the calls we've been on. I appreciate getting to know you, not just as somebody building in Web3, but again, as Dante, the person who is here to bring actual value to the world. Thank you so much for everything, Dante. Now, my brother, old man, still can. Do we have any last words for our amazing guest?
Oh man, I look forward to having you back on, man. There's so much to learn. And again, going back to the user interface, yeah, simple, smooth, it works. And yeah, I'm excited to learn more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. It's really been great. And I'm always happy to come back and chat. This is the one of many. We're going to jump into many more.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you again to everybody who tuned in to today's SagaDAO Alpha Club highlight series. Thank you again to the legends over at Ducat for not only bringing so much alpha and vibes today, but truly bringing value to Web3 as a whole. Make sure y'all check out all the links below. Make sure you reach out to the legends over at Ducat and start your DeFi journey. And above all, let's keep pioneering a beautiful new world together.